What's up with the YouTube? Kobe NBA West, another video. Man, I'm gonna just hit y'all with this response, man. Response to coochie lockdown addendum. And this is, by the way, this is really not a response to Gotta Be Kidding Me. Although she probably will have something to say about it. But this is more or less a response to the listeners, to the viewers, I guess. Anyways, man. I'm sitting here listening to this chick, and I'm listening to how off kilter she is. How she just seems to take things out of context and doesn't really understand what I'm conveying. Coochie lockdown in its essence is just about accountability and responsibility. That's all it's really about. And if you listen to her argument, it's all based on the premise that you listen to her first video, it says a lot of time. Every single man has to do it. Every single woman has to do it all the time, or it won't work. Nobody even thinks like that. Nobody says stuff like that. What man says that every single woman has to do it every single time? Every woman. Every time. Who says that? No logical, analytical, or rational person would think that way. We all know, those type of people know that there's an exception to every rule. There are variables in every group. And in turn, you have variables within variables. But I won't drift off into detail like she tended to do in her videos and start making redundant examples and bad analogies. I'm just going to get to the point and say she's arguing against being responsible. Everything she's saying is based on the premise if everybody's not doing it, it won't work. That's crazy. Coochie lockdown, of course, will have to work on an individual basis because there is no collective coochie. So everybody doesn't have to do it in order for it to work. Every woman that's doing it will be a victory. Each woman that started doing it is a victory. Just like baby mamas became in vogue and became acceptable in the black community, so can coochie lockdown become in vogue and become acceptable within the black community. Things work one way and they also work conversely the other way. But she doesn't seem to realize that. She wants everybody to think that, hey, if everybody's not doing it, then it won't work. That doesn't even make any sense, man. For every baby mama you take out the game, every single mother you stop from, every woman you stop from becoming a single mother, every abortion that you stop, you know what I'm saying, every bad situation that you stop from a child from being born into, that's a win, man. You winning. And anything right now is better than those things. Then that's the norm in the black community. You know what I'm saying? And she's arguing against us trying to change that. You see how foolish this is? So I'm not gonna be going back and forth, making video after video and trying to argue each point. She thinks she's making logical, using logical examples and trying to be like, she's not being logical. Just based off her thinking is not even logical. It's extremist and very dogmatic. She thinks everyone has to participate in order for it to be successful. That doesn't even make any sense to me. One girl participating, for every girl say, hey, I'm not going to be a hood rat, man. I'm not going to be like the rest of the girls out here and just go get pregnant and blah, 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 live off the system and become a run-of-the-mill typical statistical black female. Because females, by the way, and they are typical black women. Don't try to get me twisted like she did in her video. You don't think there's typical black women? Why do black women have the highest out-of-wedlock birth rate than any other ethnicity in the United States? That will make them typical. And that's not getting to the other high statistics that they have. I'm just giving you an example. I don't make videos to bash black women, but it's black women like you that's always trying to argue against a man trying to give some advice to women, or a man trying to say, I want my women to start acting right. I want them to be right. Anything's better than what they're doing now, and you're arguing against that. I'm the voice of possibility. You're the voice of doubt. You're telling the women what won't work. You're telling the men not to ask for something of other women. You know what I'm saying? Don't tell the women, tell the men. Nah. Women don't have no problem with getting up on TV, Oprah, Tyra, whatever show you want to do, all up in the Ebony magazine and print media, telling men what they need to do. And you got a problem with men telling women what they need to do? Wake up. It's women like you that are running the community into the ground. You always want to divide everybody. Oh, it's not going to work. Don't do it. Don't listen to the men. The men are trying to tell us what to do. We're not telling you to do anything wrong, are we? It's women like you that are running shit into the ground, man. Straight up. You want to talk about solutions. I gave you solutions. You want to talk about, oh, it was a different time back then, and da, da, da. It doesn't make any sense. You can still inject morals and ethics into your society and into your community. And don't tell me that our community is unwilling to operate off of good faith. Like you try to be condescending to me and say, let me explain it to you in your terms that you might understand. Well, here, let me explain it to you in your irrational, abstract terms that you might understand. Every man in the black community, all the women in the black community, also expect the men in the black community, out of good faith, not to beat their ass. That's what women expect, and we all abide by that. We don't take a man's skill level into account when we punish him for beating up on a woman. So, I'm not going to say, oh, what about the skill levels? And it's irrational to think that all the men are not going to do it. When a man does step outside of it, he's punished. He's shunned by the other men. He's called a coward by other men. Just like a woman who is out here not locking the coochie down, being promiscuous, and basically just being a hoe because she knows that the system will take care of her and she can live off the kids and blase blase. Nobody talks about her. We reward that. We don't talk bad about that. We don't look down on her and shun her as we should. We make that acceptable. And you want to be sensitive. What about everybody's? Oh, everybody's level. They're not all on the same level. That's irrelevant. You wouldn't take into account if men were beating up on women, now would you? You're not logical at all, man. All I hear is a woman that wants to talk loud and talk fast and argue against men. You're not even making any sense. Next time you want to have an argument and you try to be logical, have some substance to your argument, because you certainly don't at this standpoint. Everybody knows that you can't get everybody to participate in everything. What type of cuckoo person would say that to begin with? So, let me go ahead and wrap this up, man. I'm not going to be a long response. You don't make sense, man. Trust me. We let the viewers decide for themselves. West Coast.